Carolyn Huntoon grew up in a small town in Louisiana.
My father was a plumbing contractor, and my mother died when I was 5 years old, so I was raised by my older siblings and my father. I knew that by the time I was in high school that I wanted to go into the science for my education. And learning that you could put all kinds of food in your mouth and it could give the nutrients you needed in your stomach, and you'd get rid of what your body didn't need, and to me that was fascinating.
Carolyn decided to become a physiologist, someone who studies the human body. She went through college and started doing research at NASA. She wanted to discover how the lack of gravity could affect the human body. On Earth, our bodies adapt to gravity. Pushing against gravity makes your bones, muscles, and heart strong. Carolyn was one of the first people to study the effects of long-term weightlessness, also known as microgravity. She worked with astronauts who spent 14 days on Gemini 7. No one had ever spent 2 weeks in space before, and Carolyn studied how they responded.
Those guys did a terrific job of keeping count of what they ate and all. But when we analyzed those data, when they came back, they were healthy and nothing was tremendously abnormal.
Carolyn continued her research on the Apollo missions, the missions that sent men to the moon.
And we found out that the astronauts did have less fluid and less salt in their bodies when they returned from space flight. We were trying to understand, was this a response to the weightless environment that was acceptable, or is this something that we should be worried about?
It turned out that by giving astronauts more fluids, salt, and other supplements, that they would be fine. Her work paved the way for an ambitious project, sending people into space not just for a week or two, but for much longer. The project was called Skylab. Crews went to the station for months at a time to conduct experiments, and they became part of an experiment themselves. Carolyn studied the astronauts before, during, and after trips to Skylab, taking samples and running tests.
So it was a very complete set of data, and I have to tell you, the best data that has ever been collected to date.
The study showed changes in blood, muscle mass, and bone. Though her work was impressive, when it came time for a promotion, Carolyn's boss told her,
"You're a woman and you're married, and your husband gets good salary and all, and these other guys, some of them, their wives don't work, and their husband, they only have one salary, and so I'll promote them before you."
Carolyn became the first woman director at the Johnson Space Center. When she was a boss, she opened doors for other women. Dr. Ray Seddon, one of the first women astronauts, remembers.
After we were selected, she was sort of our mentor. She had been at NASA long enough. She knew how we could get the results that we wanted, and she was wonderful in sort of getting us through some tough times.
By being interested in what happens when you eat food, Carolyn made important discoveries about the body and how it adapts to microgravity in space travel.